What's up, everyone, and welcome to your Monday's edition of Reptile News. Now, I want to get a few things out of the way right away today, and that is number one, the show is very late, and I understand that. I don't know what I came down with, but it just tore me up for several days, and I'm finally feeling better. For those of you that don't know, every time I film this show the day before it comes out, the afternoon before, and it comes out at 8 a.m. in the morning, and that's one of the reasons that typically I don't cover breaking stories, because number one, I just don't have the capability to keep up with breaking stories, and number two, breaking stories, usually there's so much going on and so much that's not known that I really am not super interested in covering them, because let other people look stupid by getting information wrong, not us. That being said, because I was feeling so terrible last night, I was not going to film a show. And I'm feeling much better today, and the show must go on, so I figured let's go ahead and do it. So I get home today, and now the idea is to get set up and film, right? I've done it a million times before, but no, I've changed so many things about my process. Number one, the screen behind me. I don't know, there's so many things that might not work out, including this back here. You probably just saw the shadow on the green screen, but oh well. I'm using a much larger field of view. I don't know if it's going to work out. My audio, I'm doing something a little bit different than that. I don't know if that's going to work out. I don't know if any of this is going to work out. And the bad part is when I filmed the last show, which I think was last Wednesday. I think I skipped Friday's show because I was sick. But when I filmed the last show Wednesday, I started tearing stuff apart for this new idea I had, and I felt so under the weather I forgot all about it until today when it was time to film, and I realized this all has to be completed in order to film. So anyway, we're going to move on to our first story of the day, and that is more legislation that we have to deal with. Now, the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission released their proposed draft, I guess, for upcoming regulation changes, and they're going to have a public meeting on it. Now, I read some of these changes, and I'll post a link on the website so you guys can read all of them. There's several pages, but one of them, you know, I started reading through them, and they kind of made sense. There's not much getting changed, just some language. The one thing that bothered me a lot is the director or the person acting thereof has the ability to deny permits to any species that is not on the okay to keep species list, and the director also has the ability to grant permits to any species that's not on that list at their discretion. So they're giving quite a bit of power to a single person or a person acting for that person, and I don't like that very much. I don't like any regulation. I understand we need it, and it's going to be the new norm for our hobby, and we're just going to have to get used to it, but it just seems to me there should not be one person with that kind of power to tell you yes or no, because I mean, obviously people are biased, and there's going to be a little bit of bias being used in those decisions. So I don't know what to think about this. And now we're going to move on to Pennsylvania, where a Pennsylvania Science Center had about $40,000 in insects and reptiles stolen. Some of those are endangered. Now, they believe the theft happened by a former or current employee. They've already served 3 warrants, but there's been no arrests made. And it's just sad when you see stuff like this. I mean, here's this center that's got all these endangered and just crazy stuff from around the world that's got to deal with theft like this. Now, they do say that some of the insects have been returned, although none of the reptiles have, and they believe that the reasoning behind this theft was to resell the animals. And now we're going to head over down under, just north of Queensland, where I guess a crocodile tour operator, David White to be exact, found a baby, or it was pointed out to him, a baby crocodile with its snout taped shut that somebody had just taped shut and left to just have an unbelievable death of hunger, I guess. I don't understand what what anybody would be thinking in doing, in catching a baby crocodile, taping its mouth shut, and then releasing it to die. Now, I do have to assume that that wasn't the intent at the beginning, that maybe this was just an escaped catch or pet or something, but I'm not 100% sure what the regulations are about taping their snout shut over in Australia. I don't know what the regulations are for them here, for that matter, other than I know that I'm not allowed to own one here in California. But yeah, just a sad story all the way around. I guess with a happy ending, though, that this baby is getting a second lease on life. David didn't believe he was going to be able to catch it, but he did, and he removed the tape from its mouth. And obviously the baby crocodile was released back into the wild, where it can have the opportunity to grow up to be a big crocodile. And that, my friends, is going to be all your news for this Monday. If you'd like to read any more about these stories, those links are right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White. Now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you Wednesday.